Before a word is spoken, before a shovel turns soil, before the first tear wets the cheek, there is something in the air. It hangs low over these hills, with the mist, with the dawn. It is not seen, but felt. A pulse beneath the earth, a breath shared with ancestors. It is presence. It is memory. It is the sacred rhythm of a people who have not forgotten how to mourn. Among the Luhya of Western Kenya, death is not a sudden stop. It is a slow walk, a carefully choreographed dance between the living and the dead. Here, mourning is not a moment. It is a process, a ritual, a rite. The drums will speak, the fire will burn, the widow will sit in silence, the elders will whisper to the departed. There is a reason for every act, a meaning behind every gesture, a truth tucked between every silence. You will see grief in its rawest form, loud, public, shared. You will see joy return, not in spite of loss, but because of the deep love that loss reveals. These rituals are poetry etched in the soil of tradition. They are sacred acts of remembering, and in remembering, there is healing. Lean in, slow down, listen.
In this episode, I continue to bring to you our coverage on Luhya mourning rituals, which is part of a research that we conducted in Western Kenya, in the 4 counties where the Luhya community inhabits. Today, I will be speaking about the rituals around preparing the body for burial. And before I focus on the Luhya community, I have looked around the world, looked at how different cultures prepare the body when a person dies. And one of the global communities that I've looked at is ancient Egypt. And in ancient Egypt, we find that when someone died, the body was prepared in a particular way before a final burial is done. And some of the things that the ancient Egyptians used to do is they would remove the internal organs from the body, and then the process of mummification of the body would follow. And this involved embalming the body, dehydrating it, and then wrapping the body in linen. In ancient Egypt, a body was also prepared by opening the mouth, so that it was assumed when the person is dead, then in the next world, in the afterlife, they would require to breathe and they would require to eat. And so the ancient Egyptians would ensure part of the preparation of the body for burial was opening the mouth so that the person can be ushered into the next world in a way that is going to be comfortable. When we look at the ancient Greece, in the Greece community, there was ritual washing of the body, and then the body would be sprayed with perfumes, and then dressing would happen. And among the Greeks, a coin would be placed in the mouth of the dead body because it was believed there is a ferryman who carries dead bodies to the underworld, and this ferryman would actually need to be paid to cross the soul of the deceased person across rivers. So the ancient Greeks would put a coin in the mouth of the deceased person as a way of helping them transition into the afterworld. Among the Jewish community, there was also ritual washing, and the body would be wrapped in linen, and spices could be applied. This has even been corroborated in the biblical story of the burial of Jesus, where the women were going to the grave to apply spices after burial. Now, let's come to the Luhya community. And we looked at this community in our first episode, and we found it to be a community that still holds a lot on its cultural practices around the subject of death. And in the Luhya community, they also do preparation of body for burial with different reasons. And this is what I invite you to accompany me as we explore this ritual among the Luhya community of Western Kenya. And when we interviewed the elders in this community, we found that immediately after someone dies, the body is normally prepared before public mourning begins. The body is normally prepared, straightened, and if the person died with mouth open and eyes open, the face of the person is normally wiped by a piece of wet cloth, and if the mouth was open, it would slowly be returned together, gently be returned together, be closed. The eyes would be closed. The body would then be dressed for the mourning period. Only after that, then the community can go into public mourning, where now they'll be wailing, and this invites the rest of the community members to join the family for public mourning.
Majina yangu mimi ni Esther Shenaywa Habart. Niko na miaka 76. Kwa kiaka kitambo hatukukuwa na nyumba za simiti. Sasa akishaaka muhakikisha kabisa ameenda. Sasa tunakata hiyo matawi ya ndizi, wanaenda wanakutandikia nyuma ya nyumba kwa mandisi yani. Alafu wanabeba, wanakuwekea hapo, wanaleta maji kwa pesheni na sabuni, unaanza kumuosha na kitambaa tu kama hii. Wanamuosha vizuri, unampendua hivi, unaosha huku mgongo. Ukimaliza, unachukua kitambaa ingine na mpangusa hiyo maji itoke. Sasa wanachukua blanketi wanatandika kando hapo tu. Wanabeba kutoka kwa hiyo matawi, wanamsongeza hapo. Sasa hapo ndio utaendelea kumpangusa kabisa hata kwa mkongo kila mahali maji ishe. Unatafuta mafuta, unampaka vizuri. Wanaleta manguo, sasa umeanza kumvalisha kama hako hapo. Mkimaliza, ndio wanabeba, wanarudisha kwa nyumba, wanaweka kwa kitanda, wanatandika kitanda vizuri, wanaweka sheet, mnamladisha hapo, mtamfunika na sheet ingine ama blanketi. Ujue enzi zetu huko nyuma watu hawakuwa wanapelekwa mochari. Tulifanyanga tu hivyo na kuanzia hapo sasa tumeanza matanga mpaka vile tutafika kwa siku yake ya mazishi. Na leo vile tuko na nyumba ya simiti, saa zingine mnaweza mkihakikisha tu amekufa. Kwa hivyo lazima muhakikishe amekufa. Muhakikishe kabisa amekufa. Unajua mtu anaweza kuenda tena arudi. Lakini mkihakikisha kabisa ameenda, watu wameomboleza, sasa wamepumzika. Mnaweza kumbeba tu na muweke kwa nyumba yake tu humo fulani, alafu mumuoshe tu hata kwa nyumba. Mkimaliza pia mtampangusa vizuri, mtamleta kwingine, mtandike kitu mumuweke, mpanguse kabisa, mmalize, mpake mafuta, mlete nguo mumvalishe.
And the reason for this initial preparation of the body is just to make sure the body is presentable for public viewing. Because again, in this community, funerals are not private. The body is not private when someone dies. The body is supposed to be viewed by the family and different members of the community coming. So, and the community believes that the body cannot be viewed when it's not, when it's either dirty or not in a presentable manner. That's why we see the initial part of preparing the body being done. And after this, when mourning is going on, just before burial, in the Luhya community, there is also ritual washing, where the body is washed now in preparation for the afterworld or for the afterlife. And in this ritual, the body is normally washed by someone of the same gender as the deceased. And the taboos around sexuality still apply even at this particular time. For example, among the Luhya people, like parents-in-law are not allowed to see the nakedness of their children-in-law, and neither children are supposed to see the nakedness of their parents. So when it comes to washing the dead, these rules still apply. For example, a mother-in-law cannot wash her daughter-in-law. A father-in-law cannot wash a son-in-law. So the person who is chosen to wash the body and among the Luhya people is usually either an age mate or someone who is not a very close family member to that person. But of course, that person is a relative. And during the washing, it is full body wash that is done, and this is normally done in a confidential place. Usually, in many Luhya communities, the elders say this is normally done behind the houses. The person is not washed within the house. The body will be taken outside the house and behind the houses, which is considered confidential. Visitors are not usually allowed in that space. That is a place where only the person washing the body and a few people will be there.
Sasa mtu mwenye siwezi osha kama bibi ya kijana wangu akiaga siwezi kumuosha juu ni mtoto wangu, na tena mama mkwe akiaga siwezi kumuosha, lakini hao watu wengine ni sawa tu. Yani hapo ni kupeana tu heshima. Huwezi osha bibi ya kijana umuone uchi yani. Na tena mama mkwe huwezi kumuona uchi yani. Kitambo walichinjanga ng'ombe kwa hiyo matanga. Sasa nyama inakatwa na kuna nyama yenyewe kwa ng'ombe, nyama fulani, sio tu nyama, hapana. Kuna nyama ya ndani walikatanga tu kama naweza tosha kama kilo 2. Wanakupatia kupikia asante. Sio ati ni malipo, hapana, lakini hiyo na asante yako tu. Unaenda nayo kwa nyumba napika.
Sawa sawa.
And the main reason for washing the body is to prepare the body for afterlife. It is assumed that when the person is going to be buried, is going to transition to meet the ancestors. So the person is supposed to meet the ancestors when they are in a presentable form, and hence this kind of ritual washing that we are talking about. And also during washing, the body is inspected by the washer to see if there are any peculiar marks. For example, if there is any suspicious mark that would indicate maybe the death was not normal, this is one of the things that people are usually checking. And usually it's also a way of confirming this is our kin who died. So by washing the body is being washed by an age mate or a close relative who is not an immediate family member. People are able to check and confirm, this is the body of our kin who has died. And the interview that we've conducted with the people who wash the bodies, they say they see many secrets, but these secrets are not allowed to be shared. They don't reveal the secrets that the bodies would show. So if there's anything peculiar that is seen on the body during washing, then this is going to be communicated within established family structures. But it's not a secret that is going to be shared outside there with strangers. After this washing is complete, the body is then dressed for burial. The body is now not being dressed for public viewing, but it's dressed for burial. And when the body is being dressed for burial, first, it's like the person needs to go to the next world in a presentable manner. But this, according to our interview with the elders, we found this to be a very rigorous process. The dressing of the body for burial among the Luhya follows certain rules. And what we found in our study is that among the Luhya people, there are certain items that are not permitted on the body during burial. And so these items are supposed to be removed. So when the body is being prepared for or clothed for burial, the people dressing it are cognizant that certain things should not be on the body. Now, some of the prohibited things, the bodies among the Luhya people are not buried with jewelry. They are not buried with money. They are not supposed to be buried with items such as watches, belts, necktie, shoes, blankets, or even the cotton wool that is usually placed in the nose when the bodies are being preserved in the mortuaries. All these things, when a body of a Luhya person is being prepared for burial, all these things are supposed to be removed. But we'll notice when the body was first prepared for public mourning, the body is dressed in all these things. So when the 3 days of mourning are over and the body is now being prepared to go to the grave, all these things are removed. But when it's prepared for public mourning and viewing, these things are not prohibited. These things are only prohibited to accompany the body to the grave because it is assumed or believed they are not needed in the next world or in the world of the dead.
Malisa hivyo mnamvalisha nguo ya white. Ni kama haiko ready, mnamvalisha tu nguo nyingine, lakini wataenda kununua hiyo ya white. Yenye mtamsika nayo.
Kwa hivyo kuzika lazima ikuwe ya white.
Mkisika lazima ni ya white. Na shuka ya white.
Na shuka ya white.
And when preparing this body for burial, the elders say that if it's for men, the shirt is supposed to be unbuttoned. Men are never buried with shirts buttoned. The shirts of men are supposed to be unbuttoned, and also their trousers. We have already seen that the belts are also removed, neckties are removed. Now, both men and women are not buried with innerwear. The innerwear is also supposed to be removed. And then when the innerwear has been removed, the trouser is unbuttoned, the shirt is unbuttoned. If it's for the man, the penis is supposed to be removed and to be placed on the lap. The penis is not allowed to be buried when it is in between the laps. It's supposed to be placed on one of the laps.
Wanatoa hii kitu, wanaweka juu, wanaweka kwa pale.
And shortly I'll be getting a bit deeper to explain why this is done. And then this, for the women, if they had plaited hair, they had plaited hair, this hair is going to be undone. The women are never buried with their hair plaited. It's supposed to be undone and just tied together. So any jewelry that they could have on their ears, any necklaces, all these are removed. Shoes are removed. And then the body is ready for burial.
Kama ni mtu mzima, kama ni mzee amekufa na amewacha mke, hamuwezi kumusika kama mmefunga longi, na hauwezi kumusika kama ako na inweya. Hata kama ni mama, naye pia hamuwezi kumusika kama ako na nguo ya ndani. Mnavalisha tu hizi nguo za juu. Tunakuanga na nguo ya wamama ya ndani inashonwa tu. Iwezi wekwa kama ya kuingiza mkuu kama hiyo yetu ya kawaida, inashonwa tu. Mnamvalisha hiyo, mnaweka kamisi, mnaweka rinda. Lakini yote ni white.
Nguo ya ndani, hata kama mimi sifai kuzikwa na nguo ya ndani.
Hata kama ni mwanamke.
Sana wanasemanga kama bado wako barubaru, ukizikwa na nguo ya ndani, mtu atakutaka kumfuate. Inakuanga ni mwisho vile umezika bwanako. Na kama ni kijana,
bwana ndiye anafunga bibi. Ukizikwa naye umefunga bibi, hata onekana na watu wengine.
Tena na kijana, ukimpatia ukivalisha nguo ya ndani alafu mfunge, inakuanga mwisho hata tongo zako mwanamke mwingine. Naonga hata. Hiyo usiponaanga watu wakienda kwa sanduku kama kanisa inaenda kuisha. Waende waangalie wamemfunga, wafungue kila kitu, akiwa kama lay leader wafungue tai wawache tu hapo. Kila kitu wafungue vifunguo wawache tu hapo. Mpaka chini viatu watoe hapo. Sasa watoe isikue hapo.
Hata mambo ya masoksi haya.
Socks haiko.
Hawataki mtu akufe.
Uende vile ulivyokuja.
And now we also asked the religious leaders about their views on preparing the body for burial. And this is a religious leader who explains the relevance of preparing the body for burial. And one thing that is coming out here, unlike other rituals, for this particular ritual, there seems to be consensus between tradition and religion, because the religious leaders seem to be supporting preparing the body for burial by washing and clothing. We can hear the religious leader even quoting the scripture of what happened to some of the patriarchs in the Bible when they died.
Washing the deceased is something that is biblical. The body is washed and cleansed. If you look at when Abraham died in Genesis 23:12 to 14 and other verses, you will find that Abraham's body was cleansed. Of course, it is a ritual, but it really does not affect anything. But it is only good that people tend to attend to your body. It is a sign of respect for who you are. It is a last right, you know. Just clean your body nicely and clothe you, you know. You cannot, that is indicative of the love, the care they had towards the bereaved. Yeah. You can choose to have your person from the mortuary into the box and into the ground, and it will not make any sense. But you see, people believe that once the Spirit of God is removed, I don't know how true that is, the person who has died is elsewhere and they can see what is happening. Definitely done. In the hospital, of course, you pay those guys to do it for you.
So when the body comes at home,
no, you don't clean it again.
Okay.
No.
And for example, if I die, na niko na hivi, does the church have any practice regarding that, or are just buried in my will?
Not at all. The church has no practice about it. It depends on that family. They can either say remove or you don't remove, because you died with it anyway. What it is now the family to see. How do they want you to appear on your last day as the people come and view you? Do they want to see that weave in which you died, or they want to see it removed and your hair nicely done and another weave put on? People actually do that, you know. Na wananunua kofia wanakufunika vizuri, unakaa smart hapo kwa hiyo casket like you are sleeping.
Now, when we inquired from our elders, they say all these rituals around dressing the body for dead is linked to community continuity and fertility, and that actually lineage continuity. So they say in this community, the innerwear is removed, both for men and women. They believe if a dead body is buried with the innerwear, then it kind of locks the person who is surviving. If it's a spouse who has died and the other spouse, the one who has died is buried with an innerwear, it locks the surviving spouse that they can no longer enter romantic relationships and continue to multiply. So they say when someone is buried with an innerwear, it kind of blocks lineage continuity. And that's why the community is very keen to remove that. That's the same reason they are burying men with the penis placed on the lap and not lying in between the laps, because they say that when it lies in between the laps, it is also preventing continuity of the community.
Wamekufa, wanatoa hii kitu, wanaweka juu, wanaweka kwa pacha. Ndio watu wa familia hii wazaane. Walikuwa wana remove this thing here, wanaweka kwa pacha. alafu anazikwa kama yuko namna hiyo. Watu watazaa wengine. Lakini ukiwacha tu hiyo iingie ndani namna hivi, umefunga. Ukimzika tu hiyo
inakuwa imefunga.
Nani anafanya hiyo? Nani anafaa jue?
Wazee kama sisi hivi.
Wazee.
Mimi nimewahi kufanya
brothers.
Sio kila mtu ataingia kwa nyumba. Sasa ile unaongoleshwa. Kwa sababu unajua utatoka kwa hiyo nyumba. Sasa uko kwa blanketi ama uko kwa sheet. Na hiyo nini kapa liko kwa nyumba. Sasa pale kuna maneno huwa yanaongeleshwa. Alafu ile kitu inaitwa angusu. Angusu si ati hiyo nini peke yake. Angusu ni uume wako. Unaona? Hiyo ndio angusu. Sasa hiyo angusu sasa ile uko hapo ndani ya nyumba. Si unaona sasa ile umekunjwa. Unataka kukaa hivi. Unaona? Kukaa hivi. Sasa hiyo angusu hii itaka niingie ndani.
Ndio wazee wa Idaho walituambia jana.
Inakuanga kwa mkuu. Ndio sasa ikiingia ndani usawa wako utaharibika. Sasa hata usiku hakuna kitu utafanya. Sasa ndio unaona inataka wasee ambao wamekomaa. Sasa ile uko pale hivi. Umeweka miguu karibu hivi. Hii yote. Unaona? Hii yote hata kengere.
Ndio inatakikana kama unapanda kupeleka kwa nyumba ukuwe na watu wa ukweli. Kama wanataka kuua familia yako wataua. Si bana waje tu inateremka tu hivi. Ninatakikana yilale. Hiyo ni mwami.
Nataka namna hiyo.
So you can see the rituals that are being done by the community around the burial dressing. They are actually addressing a major question of lineage and community and prevention of community extinction. And when the innerwear, for example, is removed, this is a way of freeing the surviving spouse, that they are free to engage in other relationships. They can actually engage in romantic relationships. They can remarry and bear other children that will ensure that the community continuity is assured. And when we checked with our elders, we find that violation of this burial dress code has serious consequences on the family. We had elders sharing that there are instances where people have actually violated these directives or rules of burial or dress code for burial, and what followed was serious consequences for the family, because they say the deceased person, if someone is buried with this item, the deceased person will not rest in peace. His spirit will actually come haunting the surviving kins, and the spirit will come through direct visitation or through dreams. And so when the spirit comes, the spirit is usually demanding, in the dreams or visitation, the person is demanding the removal of the prohibited items. And they claim that the deceased person comes claiming that they have been rejected from the world of the dead due to inappropriate dress code. And they keep saying they cannot enter the land of the ancestors because the ancestors do not allow them to enter that land with these prohibited items. So what many families have ended up doing is to exhume the body and remove the prohibited items. It's only after removal of prohibited items that the deceased will then rest in peace. And it has been reported that when this is done, then the deceased person no longer haunts. Whatever was appearing like visitation or hallucination stops when this is done. And in instances where this has happened, the person who is exhuming this body, the community will not use their own. They hire someone from another community, and they are paid with money and animals. And when they finish this business, the animal is supposed to be slaughtered so that it cleanses the person and the home, and such that this spirit will not haunt them again.
Kuna shida kubwa.
Nini itafanyika?
Sana Rudinga anaanza kusema wamesema pesa mtoe. Tena wanaenda kutoa huyo mtu kwa shimo saa zingine waanze kutoa hiyo vitu mpaka watoe.
Hawezi lala kama
mwenyewe atakuja tu alete ripoti. Wamesema mmenizika na pesa. Mpaka waende watoe hizo pesa.
Niko na saa kwa mkono inanifinya. Mpaka mnaenda toa yeye mnatoa hiyo saa.
Na hiyo sasa ni gharama zingine.
Mnatoa pesa ambayo mlimsika nayo.
Nimesikia watu wengi sana wakisema kaburi imetolewa paka watoe hizo vitu tena warudishe.
Wanatoa hata kama iko cemented, wanatoa. Niliona hapa msali wakitoa. Ni gharama.
And when we checked with the elders, we also find the dress code only applies to certain, like it applies to natural deaths. Actually, this dress code is not applied to people who die of suicide and people who die of murder. When people die in that manner, the dress code, they will not be given this kind of end of mourning preparation, dress preparation as we are seeing. Maybe they are not even washed, they are not dressed appropriately, because even the burial is going to be different. So as we see among the Luhya community, washing the dead and preparing the body for burial is a serious business, because to them it's not just burial or disposal of the body. To them, this is sending the body to the next world. And looking at this from a psychological perspective, first we see this community believing in afterlife, like there is continuity of life. The dress code is even someone is being dressed for the next world, and this is an assurance to the family that the death of this person and even the burial is not permanence, that this burial is a transition. The preparation of the body and the dress code is actually assurance to the surviving people that your kin who is now deceased is moving to another world. So it kind of creates a relaxed mood to these people, knowing that their person is actually not dead, is actually just resting. And that's why we'll see mostly the speeches in the funeral saying rest in peace. The person is just resting, but they have transitioned to another world, which is not the world where the physical part is existing. So we see preparing the body and dressing the body being a psychological measure that is assuring the family that this person is not permanently annihilated. This person is not permanently silenced, but they have transitioned to another world. And it is possible also to communicate to this person in the other world. It's like the person has just moved to continue with life. He has joined the ancestors. When we know that our deceased person is not dead, but he has just joined the ancestors. He has joined the people who went before him. He has joined the family members who died before. This is a very relaxing feeling, because people feel there is continuity. There is no stoppage of life, but death is being made to appear as a transition point. It's not a cessation of life. And so even the children who are surviving, the family members who are surviving, will keep knowing the bonds with their person still exist. Their person did not cease existing. Their person does not deserve to be robbed from memory, but the person has just transitioned and gone to another world. So the person can be remembered, the person can be named, the person can be respected even in death. Their grave can be respected, because it is not just a person, it's not just a dead body. This is a person who has transitioned to live in another world. So thank you for listening to this, and we continue to encourage us to interact with these rituals as we share, and we are going to be sharing more, but we invite questions on this and discussions on what we've shared.